Now, our first presenter today will be Rose Soto. So let's give Rose a moment to share her screen and unmute, and she's going to start this presentation.
All right, hi everyone. Let me get my presentation here. Okay, can you guys see?
It looks good.
Okay, so my name is Rose. Again, I've been here at the center for 6 years. I'm gonna share a little bit of the history of how the center came about and a little bit of the services that we provide here at the clinic. Okay, so this is our story. Because of I'm gonna take you guys back in history. Because of the Relocation Act of 1956, basically we had many tribal members move over to the city of Dallas and the surrounding metroplex areas. We opened up our center to the community in 1971. So I'm going to take you guys back to the year of 1971. The center opened its doors and was operating for a few years. In 2012, unfortunately, we had a bad storm hit the building and damage it, caused very bad damage to the roof. As you can see in the pictures here, we had basically our roof caved in. And in 2013, we decided to move into the building where we're at now. So this is an old picture of the front of our building. We are on Record Crossing, very close to the hospital district near Parkland and UT Southwestern. We think it's a pretty good location because of the surrounding hospitals and everything. And I wasn't here when the move happened. I came in a year after the move happened, but I was still able to hear a lot of stories from patients, and it's kind of a blessing to listen to patients say, "Man, this center is so much better. This is such an upgrade. This place is much bigger, and I'm glad you guys moved location." So it was neat hearing that from different patients personally. So in 2015, that's where our plans came about for our community garden. And here in the picture on the far left, you see our previous CEO, Dr. Rodney Stapp. And he had this vision for our garden here on the premises. And Sylvia will get into this a little bit during her presentation, but I just kind of want to reiterate the fact that it was literally like a parking lot where our garden is now. So right here in the top right corner, you see a picture of just a gate when it was first installed, our fence, and we had to break up the asphalt and concrete and all of that. So it's really come a long way, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. So these are just our beginning pictures of when we actually started putting it all together. And we'll get into that later. Okay, so some of the services that we provide, we manage many patients and their chronic diseases, and we have child checkups. We have our own in-house lab here, which we're able to do our own blood work, which is great. It's amazing because our patients don't have to go elsewhere. They don't have to worry about the cost of having their blood work done. And we get results within a couple of days. So we're able to better manage patients' health that way. So that's a huge blessing as well. We also have our own in-house pharmacy. Another great thing because medications are very expensive, and having our pharmacy here allows the patient to, get their appointment done, get their checkups done, and they're on their way out. They literally get to stop at our pharmacy window and get their medications, and they get to go home and not have to worry about stopping anywhere. How much is it going to cost for my diabetes medications? So we take that burden off of them. We also have a dental department. We offer basic services. We have a hygienist on staff as well. We do cleanings, we do fillings, we do extractions, again, for free. We recently added a COVID team. We have our own team now that specializes in COVID testing, tracing, contacting patients. They're also screening or pre-screening our patients before they come in for their appointments here at the clinic. So we decrease the risk of coming in contact with COVID. Okay, one of our programs here is called the 4-in-1 Grant, which is basically the health promotion and disease prevention program that Sylvia manages. In that program, we offer behavioral health services, substance abuse services. We're able to provide immunizations for our patients, and also women's services such as cervical cancer screening, mammograms. We do our pap smears. So that program provides the funds, and then we're also able to do different outreach programs, which I'll share some pictures here in a little bit of the education that we're able to provide. Again, we're trying to promote health, and we're trying to prevent any further disease with our patients. For our behavioral health and substance abuse, we actually are able to offer one-on-one counseling. We have our counselor here on staff and on site, and we do group counseling. Like I said, one-on-one. We can do family. We have also different monthly or quarterly, I should say, meetings where people are able to come in and they get to share stories and work on problems and stuff like that. It's a really great thing. And we also are able to send people to a rehab program if they choose to get help with addiction. So these are a couple of pictures from our different outreach. Like I said, we primarily want to educate our patients and family members on the different things that are going on. Here on the left, we have a picture from our Pink Party. We always do a breast cancer awareness not want to say party, but maybe like a class and / party, because we also want to have fun. We do games, we do educational presentations. We have our providers that are here on our on the right hand side. They get to speak, they get to share some PowerPoints and information. We do quizzes, so it's really interactive. We also are able to have our back to school health fair. So we get to provide school supplies for our kids that are going back to school. We hand them out backpacks. We do some education in that too. We give them ideas for healthy snacks. We have resources for the parents if they need help with anything. And then we also, right here on the left, we have our pictures with Santa. Every Christmas, we try to have something for the kids where we give out toys. And I will actually touch on that here in a little bit. For our diabetes program, so again, just like the 4-in-1 program, we have special funding for our diabetes program. It's funding straight from the Indian Health Services. So this covers a little bit of different components. It pays for salaries for our providers here. It pays for actual diabetic services, our pharmaceutical supplies like medications. We offer cooking classes too. And of course, our garden, it's funded by that. So I have some pictures here. On the left, it's our cooking class where we have patients RSVP. We can fit 6 people to class. Well, before COVID, we were able to fit 6 people to class, and they were able to come in. And we basically give them a recipe. We do healthy cooking that's diabetic friendly and hypertension friendly. So low sodium, fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, all of that. And we get to cook together. So it's really neat. We also have a monthly outreach, we called it the Sugar Shaker classes, and it's geared towards diabetes education. So we do a class, and then we do like a fitness activity. We'll talk about nutrition. Patients are able to share what their barriers are with diabetes, and then we just kind of talk about it. So it's not really a class, but it's more like a gathering. So people come together and then just share their stories. I also want to speak a little bit that, you know, our services here are free to our patients. Like I said earlier, it's a huge blessing for them. They're able to manage their healthcare with our help. So it's great. Our doors are open to patients that are registered with a federally recognized tribe. So if anybody has any questions on how to become a patient with us, you can always reach out to us. All we require is that you have your CDIB card. And this is my phone number. Again, my name is Rose, and here's my email address. Please contact me with any questions. These are my girls here. And this is a picture of us at the garden that we took a couple of weeks ago. Thank you. Sorry it was so rushed. I got nervous.
That's all right, Rose. Thank you so much. And don't worry, Rose is sticking around for the garden tour at the end. So I am actually going to open up the presentation that Sylvia is going to use next. And while this is getting ready, I want you guys to think about, our audience, to think about if you know what a Three Sisters garden is, and pay special attention if you think you'll be interested in volunteering at the center's community garden. All right, I have a feeling that this doesn't look like how it should. What is it looking like?
No, it looks pixelated.
That's right.
Here it goes.
Okay, I think it's just taking a long time to load up. All right, so what's going to be really exciting about this is that Sylvia and Daniel are going to be out in the garden, and after they finish with this quick PowerPoint, they are actually going to take us on a garden tour, and you're going to get to see many wonderful things that are in the garden. All right, so is it okay if we start on this page, Sylvia?
Yes. Is it showing okay on your side?
It looks like I see a picture of Dr. Strapp at a board.
It looks good now. Yeah, it was artifacting
Okay.
a bit before.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, Sylvia, if you don't mind, we'll just have to start on the second page of your PowerPoint, and it's talking about introducing Dr. Strapp, and back in January of 2015.
Okay. Am I on? Is the mic on?
You are sounding perfect.
Okay. Hi. First of all, I would like to say thank you to Helen and all of her staff members for reaching out to us to come and speak at your Grow With Us program. We're all very excited about it, and we want to thank you. So this second slide right here is our former CEO, Dr. Rodney Stapp. So then this picture, he drew this himself. It's the draft of the how he would like to see the garden. So right here, he's explaining to some community members of his vision. So his vision started in January of 2015. And this place was a place for the American Indian Alaskan Native community, and he wanted his hope was to have this place help them improve their health and well-being, and give them more physical activity. So the garden was intended to serve our diabetic population, to empower them through their health and diet. So as the idea blossomed, so did the idea of educating community members and helping them with their healthier eating habits by having access to organic fruits and vegetables, and also encourage physical activity. So, and also providing a relaxing and spiritual area for them to enjoy. And also at the bottom, I wanted to show that, as Rose had mentioned earlier, this garden was a parking lot, and there's some community members help clearing the way for the garden. Next. Okay, so this is how we started off. In the top left, you see we have fabric garden pots. So that's how we originally started planting our fruits and vegetables. In the middle is the beginning construction of the healing circle. And we had many community members come out and help build it, which was great. The bottom is our garden shed. And I wanted to point out the little water barrel is how we used to water the garden. So we have a water spigot way up there where the center is. And of course the water spigot is right in the middle. So we had to haul it up there, fill it up, and then it's on a little wagon. We had to haul it all the way back down. And that's how we watered our garden pods. Next. Okay, I love this picture. This is Welcome to the Garden. So I tried to put the pictures in order of how you would see the garden when you first walk in. So when you first walk in, you will notice our raised garden beds. Each one is filled with different vegetables. To the left, our first garden box is basil, bell pepper, Anaheim peppers, and we have some marigold in there for, it's called companion planting. So it helps with the nutrients in the soil. And in the bottom, we have a herb spiral garden. So in the beginning, we had a Dallas County Master Gardener come out and help us with this idea of making a spiral garden. So I cleaned it out. This picture was taken after I cleaned it out because it had overgrown, and that in the middle there is a rosemary. Yes, it was huge, and I had to cut it back because it was shadowing all the other herbs and they weren't getting enough sunlight. But if you look further back, there's another rose, but yes, it's very huge. It's been there for the last 4 years. So when we take you on the tour, we'll show you what we were able to put in the herb garden and what we replaced it with. So the flowers on the left at the top, those are zinnias and those are perennials. So alongside the right-hand side of the fence is our perennials and some vegetables. So the next slide, yes, those pink flowers, they are called, I wrote it down, give me a minute. It's called pink Gara, and they're really, really pretty. They're also perennials as well. And at the bottom is our 4 o'clocks. Next. All right, what's growing in the garden? So along the left side of the fence, we have some asparagus. The asparagus were put in as transplants, and from what I've heard, it takes asparagus at least 3 years to come to full fruition. There are a few stalks that show up, but they're not bunched up. So we're waiting on that. At the bottom is broccoli, and that is in the second garden box that we have. And they're doing really well. I can't wait to show y'all. And then also on the left-hand side, we have some more herbs. We love herbs. So we have the basil, purple basil. And I don't know, I've heard, I don't know if many people know this, but if you don't pick the flowers off of the top of the purple basil, then they will turn purple. But to keep them from turning purple, you clip the flowers off. And at the bottom, we have some parsley. Next. I need some water. Okay, so walking further down is we just recently, about a month ago, planted some red beans. So beans are one of the staples for Native Americans. And we also have some Lakota winter squash, which was just recently, I think they just recently started selling these type of seeds. They were able to sell these seeds. So the Lakota winter squash, I heard, is a very nutty tasting squash. So squash has problems with bugs. So we're hoping that these squash will survive the squash bugs, because we've never had these before. So we're excited to see what they look like. So across from them are orange cannas, and they are beautiful. They started off, we had, I think, 4 cannas, and now they're out of control, but they're beautiful. So we've taken some apart and we've spread them around, and we plan on taking more and putting them up towards the front of the garden. Next. Yes. Okay. So when you first walk into the garden, you will see this beautiful aloe. So we had this aloe here since 2016, and it's just grown and grown and grown. And this year we had a nice surprise. The aloe blossomed, and we didn't know that I don't know if anybody else had heard, but heard that aloe makes a blossom, and they were beautiful. So they only lasted, I think, maybe for a month, and then they died back. So I think that's pretty. Next. All right, here we are, the beautiful butterfly garden. Mm-hmm. So it's really pretty right now. It starts to blossom like in April, May, and the flowers are just coming up. So I was able to take some pictures of the butterflies that are in there. So I have them marked. Yes, thank you. The top left is the tiger swallowtail. The bottom right, I don't know if you can see it, he's on the Cosmo. Yes, monarch. And over to the bottom right is a passion butterfly. And then the middle picture is just the close-up of the butterfly garden. And the pink flowers are the zinnias that are growing within. Next. Oh, we also have milkweed in the butterfly garden, of course. Okay, so this is a really interesting picture slide. So on these are, I call our garden visitors. So on the left-hand side is the caterpillar, which will turn into a swallowtail. So right now he or she is feeding on some fennel that we have planted in the butterfly garden. And the other day when I came out, they were all over the fennel, and it was just an awesome thing to see, knowing that those are going to turn into some beautiful butterflies, and that we were able to have a place for them to eat and be created into something beautiful. And at the top is a grasshopper. I thought that was a really nice picture. A cousin of mine took this picture, and I just thought it was so detailed. It was really nice. And then the bottom is a bluebird, which came into the garden about a month ago. I just happened to be working in the garden, and when I turned around, he was standing right there. So he decided to pose for me, and I took a picture of him. And then our next garden visitor is on the Turk's cap, which is I think it's a passion butterfly. I'm not sure, but butterflies really enjoy Turk's cap. Next. Thank you. Okay, so on this slide, we have some sunchokes / Jerusalem artichokes. So the proper name is Jerusalem artichokes, but I think some people know them as sunchokes. So this is one of our first time having these here. They don't come from Jerusalem. I read about them. They don't come from Jerusalem, but they come from the sunflower family. As you can see, the yellow flowers at the top. And they also, their food is at the bottom of the ground. So you eat the tubers of the plant. And I've heard that the tubers have a nutty taste to them. In the middle is a zucchini we let stay there too long. So you have to really watch them because they're green. You can't really, it's hard to see when they're ready to pick. If you're not paying attention, they'll just blow up. And then the picture on the right is some harvest that we had in the middle of the summer, which is okra, summer squash, some cucumbers, and some cucumbers. Next. Okay, the Healing Circle. The Healing Circle is a place for meditation and prayer. So I wanted to read to you a little bit about the Healing Circle. The American Indians, it's a sacred place for them. And it's where we can come together, talk, pray, and help each other in healing. Inside the Healing Circle is a replica of the medicine wheel. And for different tribes, it has different meanings. So this one, we planted flowers according to the color of the medicine wheel. So the colors are yellow, red, black, and white. So for the black flowers, we have purple flowers. And each quadrant represents 4 directions: north, south, east, and west. And the flowers are, the red is south, black is purple, west, excuse me, white is north, and yellow is east. Next. So these are some of the flowers that are planted within the Healing Circle. Purple shamrock, which is beautiful. I believe it's a perennial because it has been coming back every year, even through our coldest winter. Amaranth is the red. We have some really pretty white petunias. They love it out there. And then the zinnias, which attracts the butterflies. Next. Okay, our pumpkin patch. So we have a pumpkin patch growing where we would normally plant a Three Sisters. We decided to try something different this year and plant the pumpkins there. And these other pumpkins are from our harvest from, I believe, 2 years ago. We had a really good harvest. So we use these pumpkins for our fall festival that we had out here. So you were able to, believe, draw for the pumpkins, or we did a pumpkin giveaway, and that was really fun. Next. So this last slide for me is the gourds, which I love. So the gourds, they are, even though they're used for eating, some of the tribes use them for rattles. And back in history time, they used them for utensils, cups, bowls. Thank you. And so, not only can they be grown for food, they can be dried and used to make rattles and birdhouses, and they come in different shapes and sizes. So the one on the left is called the bottle gourd. Yes. And the one on the right is a loofah. So you can make a loofah out of that one, or you can eat it. And you can also eat the flowers off the vines. So with that said, I am going to turn the next slide over to Daniel.
Hello, everyone. I just want to talk to you about some volunteers that come out and help us. They come out and they bring a lot of good skills. They learn a lot of things out here. They teach us a lot of things. It's been great here lately. We had a group come out from SMU. It was a very young, youthful group, very motivated, learning. They did use some good hand tools, and they learned a whole bunch of things. They left here with a basic knowledge of gardening. We taught them how to weed. We taught them how to cultivate, and just various things in what we do here. You know, all are welcome here. So if you're interested in coming out, we love to have you. We have a garden that's just wonderful. It's just fulfilling. It's very rewarding. You know, you come out here, you get a peace of mind. It's just great to work as a group. We pray, we fellowship. Sometimes we share a meal out here and just have a great time. Just wonderful. It's beautiful. So if you're very interested, we love to have you. Come on, we're hoping we pray to God that we continue to flourish and all that we do is positive and productive out here. You know, we all get together and just reap the rewards of what we do out here, the fruits of our labor. Next. She's going to change it. Okay, we recently, what year did we receive that? 2017. 17? Okay. In 2017, we received an award, a group award for the garden, for the volunteers here, which are mostly our co-workers. We have one, our dental hygienist, Penny Baker. She's just really hardworking. I mean, just a very motivated individual and just great to work with. You know, we are up in our 60s, a couple of them, but we are out here and we just love what we do. Next. Okay, here's a picture we just recently took, and here are some pictures here of our produce, all that has come out of this garden. Really good, as you can tell. I'm wearing regalia. Sylvia's wearing her regalia, and our co-workers are here too. It's just really great out here. So I encourage you strongly, all of you that are listening, come out and visit us. Come out and just get a feel for being here, fellowshipping with Native Americans, Alaska Natives. I mean, it's just a great feeling. You'll leave with something. Okay, here's the food that we have here. Our bell peppers are just growing really good and green, as you can tell. You can see our potatoes, red potatoes and white potatoes, our carrots, just wonderful produce. You leave here, all that we do is for our patients, you know. Our onions are here. Most of our stuff here is given to our patients, you know, even though they've been through a vigorous session in the clinic, they leave with a bag of produce and a smile, and we make them feel much better, you know, once after all what they have been through. So it's really wonderful. I mean, great. It's very rewarding. Can you show the next slide, please? Okay, here's a picture of our master gardener and myself. Really two great people here that are very dedicated to this garden. Do you have any questions? If you have any questions, here's Sylvia's contact information. She's very available for questions. Next.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you very much.
That's got to be the best lunchtime presentation I've attended in a long, long time. Thank you both.
You're quite welcome.
Okay, so if we have some questions for everybody, we're going to have those in the chat. But our hosts are going to get ready to take us on a garden tour. So I think everyone is excited beyond belief to see what is growing out there right now. So we have your information in the chat. If anyone wants to volunteer, the phone number to call is there. And also the address of where you're located is also in the chat. All right, Sylvia, are you ready for our garden tour?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let's see.
Oh, hold on. Okay, so I'm going to start at the beginning and show you how it is to walk into the garden. So everybody close your eyes. Don't look now. No, I'm kidding. Penny. Okay. So this is how the garden looks when you walk in. And there's a big old welcome sign right there. So we're going to go to the left, and Penny's going to tell us what we have planted over here.
We just rearranged everything. So we have got sweet mint and then regular mint, our garlic chives, stevia. We have a lot of diabetic patients, so we really wanted to get some things in the garden that they could use. Over here we have some garlic chives, radishes, onion chives. Besides the Swiss chard, we have rue. It's the first time we've planted the rue, but it's good for people with toothaches and things to make a tea out of it. This is our thyme and our cilantro. We also have some oregano started here, but we have 3 different kinds against our garden shed too on the entrance. The flat leaf parsley, our rosemary, which does take over things, lemongrass, which is wonderful as an herb in soups and stews, chamomile for chamomile tea. We have sage. I cannot remember the name of this. It starts with a G, but it is actually good for gout. We have tarragon, basil, Thai basil, curled parsley, and that pretty much takes care of the herbs we have in our garden. We do have a bank of asparagus. Our broccoli is doing really well. It's gone crazy.
Go this way.
This is just part of our butterfly garden. We have elephant ears and mums right now. And
let's show them what we have in there.
In each of our beds,
yep.
These are our spinach. Then we have pak choi, which is the purple. So, celery. And this is Chinese cabbage. This is some kale, red cabbage, and regular cabbage. Over here, we started some purple top turnips and radishes. And then this is more kale. We like kale. Our doctor really wanted us to plant more greens in the winter for our patients.
Can you hear her okay, Vanessa? Okay, let's show the broccoli.
Here is our broccoli. We're about to start picking some of it and taking it indoors. We do have the remainder of the Dixon cream peas. We're going to collect some of these for seeds next year. This is some Tabasco plants and some Anaheim. We have our marigolds in here for our companion plants. These are bell peppers. Quite large, as a matter of fact.
Where is it?
Here's one right here.
Oh.
Yay! Our basil is volunteering everywhere. I found some in the herb garden. Next one. This is tender leaf mustard, and this is kohlrabi. I don't know if you've ever seen our oyas. These are a big old jug under the soil that keeps the temperature down, and it also seeps water, but more than anything, it stabilizes our temperature during the hot and the cold weathers. This bed was transitioning. We've been getting peppers all summer, but now we're getting some mustards coming up to take over for the winter. And we have 3 different kinds of kale. We have another sage plant to put in. And then our pumpkins. They really like part shade better than they did in the full sun. We did learn something about that this year. We don't get the wilting on the side. This is our butterfly garden. It's one of the most fun areas of the garden because it's ever changing. And we get the most amazing butterflies and bees in here.
There was a baby.
You didn't want to be on camera. Here's the fennel that I was telling y'all about.
And Bill is in the other corner.
So they pretty much chewed up that one. And of course, when I want to show y'all, they're not here. I guess they got full and went away.
How funny. Yeah, first day we hadn't had a caterpillar in weeks.
Yeah.
You tell them about our ground cover?
No, you can tell them about the
The
brown.
crimson clover we planted with our pumpkins because we wanted to put the nitrogen back in the soil for our Three Sisters garden next year. Corn in particular takes lots of nitrogen.
Oh, I can see. I said caterpillars or camera shot. And this is our green ash tree. Over here we have some fruit trees. Go ahead and tell them about the fruit trees, Benny.
This is a persimmon, and they're getting really close to being ripe. It was so full of fruit, but our squirrels tend to beat us to some of it. These are our two pomegranate trees. And once again, the squirrels got about half of it, but we do get enough to get everyone to try it. We have one zucchini left growing, but we do have some winter squash. This is going to be butternut. We have 3 of those planted this year. And our okra is still going kind of crazy. As it gets older, it gets tricky and puts it down on the bottom. So you really have to watch where it's blooming or you will not be able to find all the fruit until it gets way too big.
Like zucchini.
Yes, like this one.
Yikes.
We missed it.
Daniel.
Yeah. Yes, and here we have our healing circle. You can see the various plants that we have growing here, flowers. Wonderful. Amaryllis and our salvia is growing here by the stone here. And our pentas here are growing. Aren't they beautiful?
Dianthus.
We put a lot of effort and work into this. Yes,
Petunias.
Yes, we're challenged by a lot of weeds, but we get together and we just take it on. So you see the various colors of our yellow flowers, our different flowers, zinnias. What are those? What are these?
They're a type of a black-eyed Susan.
They are possibly a cousin of the black-eyed Susan.
Rudbeckia.
Fudbeckia. This one is particularly called a prairie sun.
As you can see, the variations of our yellow flowers. Isn't it beautiful? Just wonderful.
What's that, Daniel?
Snapdragons.
Snapdragons. Okay, yes, our yellow snapdragons. And you can see our petunias. See how beautiful? More zinnias, right? Yeah. Here we are, some more zinnias. Here.
White penta.
Our white pentas. Beautiful. See our variations of white in our different plants here. A lot of effort goes into this, and you're viewing the fruits of our labor. Here we have some pansies, and we have some purple shamrocks, petunias. Here we have some purple shamrocks. Oh, just beautiful.
Purple basil.
Purple basil. Okay, going around here.
Dianthus.
Dianthus, just beautiful.
So Sylvia, is that drip irrigation you guys have there?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Drip irrigation. We just redid it. So it's in a circle all the way around. And we have some in the garden boxes as well.
And here we have a stone that's dedicated to our founder, Dr. Rodney Stapp, our CEO from August 2002 to January 2016. This stone has been placed in his honor, where he had this vision of the garden. And as you can see, we've met challenges, but we've done really good as a group. Very small group, but very productive and positive group that we have here. Fellow employees, our master gardener. We're just so rewarded to be out here. Just really great.
So Sylvia,
so we're taking you on a tour of 11,000 square feet. How much time do we have?
You have as much time as you need, but we did have a question about your greenhouse. Do you have one, and is it operating?
Yes, we do have a greenhouse. Penny, you want to show them the greenhouse?
We had started seeds earlier, but we don't have any started right now. We were too busy getting everything else in the ground. But this winter, we'll be moving some things in that we can keep going longer because they are in a nice environment.
And we were able to get this greenhouse through a grant.
Here's some unusual greens. They're Rumex.
Have you heard of Rumex?
Very tasty, and they're very pretty. These are actually called raspberry dressing because of the purple veins that go through it. Our Ichabod squash.
Ichabod squash.
Eggplant.
I mean, Ichabod eggplant.
Yeah, that's my fault.
Banana peppers.
Sweet banana peppers, cayenne, jalapeno peppers. The Daturia, we got that one because we got a volunteer over here, so we thought we'd go ahead and get another one. But they put up the most beautiful flowers at night.
That's a seed pod right there. So they're done blooming and they're about to drop their seeds.
We have two kinds of Swiss chard right here. And then some Native American red beans.
So they're getting ready to form as well. See those flowers?
That's a creeping rosemary. So it's not like the ones that grow straight up. It's supposed to spread out along the ground.
We like rosemary, as you can tell.
1,000 cherry tomato plants. They're hanging on for a little bit longer, and those things are so good.
The Lakota squash.
And we have started Lakota squash. This is also a Native American plant. And elephant garlic in between.
So far, so good.
All right, so we actually had another question about composting. Do you guys compost?
No, we do have a composting site, which we weren't going to show y'all because we haven't, we just don't have enough manpower to come out and do that because it's a process. We did start one, but it's just become our trash pile now.
That's okay. You're practicing cold composting. It's still composting.
So back here is where we have the gourds. So I'm very particular about this gourd because this plant, because it was planted over here with these three. And for some reason, it wasn't doing too well. So I took it, put it over here, babied it, put rocks around it. And now look at it.
It's beautiful. What kind of gourd is it?
Bottle gourd. So there's a little one there. And there's a big one right here. Can you see it?
Yes. And
there we go.
Do you guys primarily eat them?
No, we use them for to make things with. So here's a gourd from 2 years ago. And actually, we have a gourd up here. Where is he? He was up here from 2017. But you see that barbed wire? I don't dare try and get it. So I just left it up there. And then
so now it's like it's just a wind chime now.
Yes. A rattle chime. So over here we have our artichokes. One there, one right there, and we transplanted them. They were where they were over there where the what was over there? Oh, where the datura plant was. And we moved them over here and they like it a lot better. So now we're going to go to the back, and here is our bur oak tree. So that'll be our shade tree. And then back here we have
some tomato plants that we wanted to do for the fall. So we started those about a month and a half ago. We've got tomatoes on them. And then we have some garden beans that are putting out some beautiful purple flowers right now. So they're now starting to make. Behind the shed, the greenhouse, we also have wheat, buckwheat, which we planted as a cover crop so we can kind of enrich the soil too. It's been a little problem because it's been full of fire ants, but we finally got rid of that. The one thing with buckwheat though, they really bring these bees. Bees love this.
Bees love buckwheat.
Bees love buckwheat.
And then here's some of the more of the gourds. The babies are coming out. And there's a loofah right there. I don't know if you can see with the sun. Here's a little one right here.
I've personally eaten loofah before, and I think it's delicious. I love eating it. And then it is neat you could keep them, like you said, and dry them out. And you can have that loofah scrubber that you can use in the shower. You can even use it to clean your dishes with.
Can you see it, Helen?
Yes. I'm actually really jealous that you guys have loofahs. It makes me want to, I'm going to plant some next year. I'm highly motivated by everything I'm seeing here. And I have to admit, I have quite a bit of garden envy right now. I have lots of garden envy.
Well, we would love for you to come out here.
Yes.
And so when do you guys have volunteer days?
So our volunteer days during the day are Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 to 12. And then second and fourth Saturdays from 8 to 12.
Or possibly by appointment if somebody wants to call.
Or by appointment, Penny said, if somebody wants to call.
So it sounds like Penny and Daniel are your primary volunteer coordinator. I think Daniel is probably your volunteer coordinator, but Penny is your the person who gives the instructions, right?
Yes. Indeed, ma'am.
I do a lot of the work.
Yes.
She's a hard worker.
Yes. Okay. Now, the last thing I was hoping that we could see is your cistern.
Yes. Okay. So, I wanted to, okay.
Oh,
Let me show you one thing when we're back here.
Yeah.
Is this pergola was built by the Eagle Scouts as one of their projects. So we thought that was really nice of them to do that. And then our 600-gallon water cistern was also put in by them. And that's up front here.
Oh, those are your cannas, right?
Yes. And they're over there by the bench.
Oh, what is that nice tablecloth I see?
Oh, yeah. So we have this, well, our dentist had this tablecloth made up for us. And we have 2 banners that go with it. He did a really nice job of designing it. More basil. Oh, and our Brussels sprouts.
You know, a lot of people have never seen Brussels sprouts on a stalk before, and it's kind of unusual until you've seen it.
So this is the 600-gallon water cistern. So can you see the gutters? It might be too sunny.
No, we can see them.
Penny? We forgot to show y'all because they're back here.
This is our blackberry, and it's a thornless Cherokee blackberry. And then this is our raspberry bush. They've gone quite well. We had to remodel our front gate, so we used the gate as actually the climbing tool for it.
That was smart to do that, because they do so much better. Otherwise, they just droop over.
Right. So we try to repurpose everything that we have in here.
So that was a question I had.
And
how do you guys fund your garden? Because some of this, I mean, like those cedar beds, those are really, really nice cedar beds, and those aren't always affordable.
Right. So we're funded through the diabetes grant. Through the diabetes grant, the one that Rose is over. So yes, these are newly built in January. And they smell really good when you walk out here. And these little ones down here, Penny did.
Well, those are really nice and well constructed. You have the supports in the center. About what are the dimensions of those beds?
They're 4 by 16 feet.
And then she put a little seat right here, so you can sit down if you have to work in the box.
And we tried to do it so we socially distance. So we've got the seats opposite ends. So we've got spacing. We can handle COVID.
Well, now it looks like you're going to have to handle an influx of volunteers, because I think there's a lot of people here who are interested and also fascinated, whether it's with tours or helping to volunteer. And we do have another question. Did your diabetes grant help pay for the greenhouse?
That was through a different grant. It was through the tribal. It was through a different grant, but it was a grant through in Oklahoma that helped pay for that.
Kind of an award. They put us up for it after we had won our garden award, and they noticed us and reached out and gave us a greenhouse.
Good Health and Wellness. That's what it was called. Good Health and Wellness. So it was a grant that we had where we combined. We did like a program. So you can sign up to take a healthy eating class, which our dietitian Amber White runs, and Rose helps her with that. And then so you would get so many hours a month in each. So you would do the cooking class, and then on some days you could come out and get your hour and work in the garden.
And speaking of Amber White, she's going to be giving a presentation on this series the Monday before Thanksgiving on how to make the Three Sisters stew so that you can incorporate that into your Thanksgiving dinner. And so I guess one of our questions is, what is a Three Sisters garden?
So the Three Sisters garden is made up of corn, beans, and squash. So each vegetable is planted at a certain time. And I believe the corn goes in first. So the corn, you plant the corn in a mound. So it's supposed to be like 3 layers. So the corn is at the top. They grow for, I think, 2 or 3 weeks, or they're 2 or 3 inches. I can't remember. And then you grow then you put the beans in. And then a few weeks later, you put in the squash on the outer edge. So the squash acts like the protector of the sisters.
And thank you for that, because Amber's going to be using those 3 ingredients on making her Three Sisters stew. And we have a link for that session, the registration. So she's actually going to show you how to cook that stew. So that's going to be fantastic. We had another really good question, Sylvia.
Okay.
What is the soil mix that you use in your raised beds?
The soil mix that we use is a vegetable soil mix. So we get our soil from Living Earth.
They are a big supplier of soils and compost in the area, absolutely. And then going on that, someone was asking about your garden practices. Do you guys use organic gardening practices?
Yes, all organic. No pesticides. And it's very, what do you call it? You have to have patience.
Yes, integrated pest management involves a lot of hard work and a lot of squishing. So I understand exactly what you're talking about, or stomping. Sometimes it's stomping, especially when you find the fire ants.
Right.
And also you mentioned the squash bug. Squash bugs are they're terrible, especially during the summertime here in North Texas, the squash bugs and the squash vine borer. So those are always a challenge in organic gardening. So I'm so excited to see your gourds doing so well, despite those nasty, nasty bugs.
Right.
All right. So I believe that wraps up our questions that we had from our audience. So I thoroughly enjoyed this, and thank you for sharing the opportunities to volunteer. So can you repeat that one more time? What are the volunteer days?
The volunteer days are Tuesdays and Thursday morning from 8 to 12, and then second and fourth Saturday, 8 to 12. Or Penny says you can call and request an appointment.
That's really kind of her. And we have a short little survey. If the people remaining don't mind taking that, it's going to help us with future programming. And also, I want to thank all of our presenters. We had a lot of the staff from the center on the presentation with us, sharing their passion and their hard work. And just like Daniel said, it's good medicine. And I cannot wait. I am looking forward also to volunteering out there. And I'm just going to have to pick the right day and see maybe if I can drag my husband along with me to see if we can lend a hand out there. Now, do you guys garden year round?
Yes, except for when it's very, very cold.
Okay.
Very wet.
Or very, very wet, Penny said.
That's true, because we can get some real muddy conditions in some of our gardens. All right. So while everyone's filling out the survey, do you guys have any closing remarks or anything you'd like to share?
Do you have anything you'd like to share?
I just want to say thank you to everyone again for your time, and thank you for letting us share our garden with you guys. You know, I think somebody posted the link to our website. If you guys need any more information, have any questions, feel free to contact me or anybody else here. And thanks again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for joining us. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hope to see you soon.
You will, and you might regret it.